Hello and welcome. I'm Chiyoko Yanette.
And I'm Juan Martinez.
At Sony, we hear from a lot of DPs who challenge us to build cameras with exactly the features they want.
That's true. We interview many filmmakers in New York and Los Angeles, and they asked us if we could build an entirely new camera for handheld operation.
A camera that provides a complete system, from the lens mount to the recording codec to the media.
Yes, and especially to refine the body for an entire new level of ergonomics.
Well, we've done it. It's the PXW FS7, Sony's all-new 4K Super 35 camera. Juan, why don't you give us a brief tour?
Sure. Well, there are four unique characteristics of this camera. The first is its ergonomic design. It's a very small and lightweight body. We're also using Sony E-mount lenses. The camera is recording to XAVC intra and also XAVC long op for long-form shooting.
Wow.
And we're using XQD media for recording.
Tell us a little bit more about ergonomics. This camera looks so different from others.
It certainly is. This is a result of all the feedback that we received from the field. And this camera, of course, has a very small, lightweight body. It has a tremendous amount of flexibility. You can use it without a rig. You can hold it in front of you, or you can put it on your shoulder and operate it from your shoulder for a long time. It's very comfortable. It also has a great deal of flexibility. It has a smart grip that allows you to reach all the fundamental controls of the camera, and these buttons can be reassigned for other functionality. You can zoom, you can expand your focus, you can call the menu. There are many, many functionalities. And it is possible this arm folds all the way to the back for transportation or from operation from the rear, or you could even do this and operate the camera in a crowd. If you're not too tall, like I am, it's very easy to reach over a crowd.
Wow, that looks so flexible.
It certainly is. In addition to its ergonomics, this camera has great functionality. It has a 4-position ND filter. It has assignable buttons that are large enough to be operated with gloves. It has assignable dials, both on the camera body and on the smart grip. You can set these up to adjust the iris aperture or the focus or many other functionalities. It has Wi-Fi remote, and it could be used with the WA100 for recording proxy or streaming live. The camera is laid out so all of the connectors are facing backwards. The camera has an MI shoe that allows us to use different types of accessories. My favorite one is an adapter for the UWPD wireless receiver. I can connect the wireless receiver to the camera. I don't need to have batteries on the receiver. It is automatically powered by the camera, and all the signals are sent wirelessly through the MI shoe.
Can you tell us about the alpha mount system?
The alpha lens mount is one of the key components of this camera. Alpha lens mounts, the E-mount that is used by this camera, were designed from the beginning to be used for motion, not only for stills. And the newer batch of lenses made by Sony, E-mount lenses, are made to work with the Alpha A7R. That camera has 36 million pixels, so any kind of optical defects or aberrations will be easily shown. These lenses have very high optical performance. In addition to that, Sony E-mount lenses are designed to focus very smoothly as well and to zoom. Sony is the only manufacturer that is offering servo zoom lenses
on a
camera of this type. That's correct. We now have 3 servo zoom lenses.
Wow. What about the codec?
Oh, the codec is another strong point as well. This camera is using the Sony XAVC codec. We're using XAVC intra for both 4K and HD, but we're now incorporated XAVC long. XAVC long allows us to record very long time, and it's ideal for long-form type of productions. So cinema verite, documentaries, reality TV, magazine shows, this is ideal. Everything is suited for the application.
Well, that is a big game changer, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Can you tell us about the other recording formats?
This camera has an optional extension unit that docks on the 144-pin connector in the rear. When that is attached, it is possible to then encode ProRes HD and ProRes HQ. The encoding is being done in the extension unit, and the signal is sent back to the XQD media and is recorded internally.
Wow.
In addition to that, this camera can output RAW via a single BNC, with a very similar system as was used in the FS700. So it's possible to use Odyssey 7Q or any other recording systems such as the Sony R5.
In addition to the long recording time in 4K, how about high frame rate?
Well, that's an excellent question. This camera has powerful slow motion capability. It can crank from 1 frame per second up to the maximum frame per second high frame rate. In XAVC long, that in HD up to 120 frames per second, and in intra up to 180 frames per second. And both in HQ long or in intra, we can crank up to 60 frames per second.
Wow, that's so powerful.
It certainly is.
And why did we choose XQD media?
Well, the XQD media is another very strong point. XQD media has the same robustness that you find in an S/S card, yet is in a smaller package and more economical. This card is 128 gigabytes, and with this card, we could record up to 110 minutes of 4K.
Wow.
Just like S/S, if I were to be recording and accidentally take the card out of the camera without stopping recording, I could have the camera automatically recover the information. If you do this with an SD card or a CF card, you lost your work. In addition to that, if I were to not realize that I pulled the card and the camera was still recording, and I sent this to post, in post, you can use Content Browser to then close the file and recover the data.
Wow, those are very impressive features.
Absolutely, that's why we're Sony.
Yes. Thanks, Juan. Now you see how versatile the new PXW FS7 really is. Let's look at some footage. We are planning to make the PXW FS7 camera body available in October at a suggested list price of under $10,000. In December, it will be available with a new 28 to 135 mm self-zoom kit lens at a suggested list price of under $13,000. The XTCA FS7 extension unit is also planned for December at a suggested list price of under $2,500.
But there's much more to this story. In the coming weeks, we will post more videos, detailed product information, test footage, and some surprises at sony.com/exicam. And we'll continue the conversation in the Sony Community Forum. So stay tuned.
Thank you for watching.